What's good, gentlemen? What's good, fellas? Welcome or welcome back to another video. Guys, I titled this video, A Man Has to Heal His Own Heart. Now, I've had my fair share of heartbreaks throughout my life. Even just talking about it right now, I feel the emotions coming up. And I'm not just talking about heartbreak from relationships with women. Yes, absolutely. I'm talking about betrayal from family members, betrayal from friendships, people stabbing you in the back. I've had numerous heartbreaks in my life from people who I thought were for me. And I always talk to you guys about doing the inner work, right? I pride myself on that. I'm somebody who has sought therapy. I've done therapy. I've done many different things. I continue to work on myself. And I don't believe a man can truly be free in this life unless he heals his heart and walks freely without any disdain or resentment towards anybody. Because ultimately, when you resent somebody and you disdain somebody, you're giving that person power over you. And it's so imperative as men on our mission that we're able to pursue that mission with a light heart and clarity. That being said, fellas, let's begin the video. I talk to a lot of different people. As I've said before, I love having profound conversations. And as I'm talking to a lot of gentlemen, one of the most common things that come up when it's a really profound conversation is how to deal with pain and hurt and heartbreak. And it's evident that a lot of us men are hurting. That is the truth. The issue is a lot of you fellas do not do whatever. A lot of you fellas have not done the necessary work in order for you to thrive and move forward in life. You see, when you hold on to certain things, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm not saying forget. I don't forget anything that anybody ever did to me that was dirty. A lot of people did me greasy, and I use that as fuel. What I am saying, though, is you got to be able to accept those things as, you know what, it happened. I'm moving forward. I'm not forgetting, but I accept that it happened. You see, guys, I've been through so much pain, so much betrayal in my life that I used to hold onto those things. And I got a little dark, twisted part of my brain, of my psyche, to where I use all of that as fuel to catapult me to where I know I'm going. And that serves me greatly. It's enabled me to achieve a lot of my goals. To be honest, a lot of my goals were achieved off of pain. They were achieved off of just being hurt, being betrayed, being left to fend for myself, becoming a warrior out of necessity, as I said before. But as I began to mature, as I began to become more self-aware, as I began to become more healthy and work on myself, I realized the power of not taking things personal. You see, this great book I read years ago, The 4 Agreements, really helped me process this aspect of my life. And once I was able to do this, doors started to open for me. People are going to do you dirty in this life. Accept it. People are going to do you greasy. People that you thought that you could trust, that you could confide in, people you thought that was going to always be there, are going to do you dirty. It is what it is. Accept it. But don't hold on to that, because you've got places to go. And if you're holding on to something that somebody did to you 5 years ago, that's holding you back. The second you let that go, it's like you're on a slingshot and you're flying forward. Believe me, I've done it. Last year, and I'm going to be candid with you guys as I always am, always super transparent because I have no shame. I know exactly who I am as a person, and I've done the work and continue to do the work. I spoke to you guys about how I lived in Italy. I spent some time in Italy. Last year, I went through a series of heartbreaks, right? One of those heartbreaks was a relationship that I was involved with a woman who I loved immensely. Now, this relationship ended in what I felt was a greasy way. No cheating went on or anything like that. Just something else. And so as the relationship just ended abruptly, I was extremely hurt, but I just ate that. I ain't speak about it like that. I told my best friend, you feel me? I just ate it. I just dipped. I went to Italy. I found myself in a little tiny city, village, if you will, in Italy. I didn't tell anybody I was going. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell nobody knew where I was at. I disappeared. For 4 months, I found myself in this little village in Italy, just living amongst the Italians, going back and forth between where I was living, Rieti, and Rome. Wandering through Rome, heartbroken, hurt. A lot of other different things that were going on in my life, with my business, things that were falling through that I just wasn't in a good position. Mentally, economically, nothing. It was a real hard time. I stumbled across the teachings of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. Those teachings changed my life. I had already been living somewhat a Stoic life, but I didn't know that there was a philosophy. And so I found myself finding myself in Italy, in that little town. I found myself finding myself roaming through Rome with a broken heart. And in that moment of solitude, I was able to start processing my heartbreaks and things that I went through from being disassociated. You see, at that point, I had lived in Colombia for about 2 years. I had known a lot of people in Medellin, in Cali, in Cartagena. And so being in another country, just dolo, I had solitude again. And just walking every day to the gym, having thoughts, processing things, letting the pain flow through me, understanding that emotions are only energy and motion, processing the hurt, the anger, the disdain I felt towards this girl for hurting me like this. I had to own up and realize that it was my doing. I saw the red flags, but I ignored some of those because I was betting on her potential. You can't do that with anybody. And so I'm living in Italy. 1 month go by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by. E sì, parlo un po' di italiano. Ho trascorso 3-4 mesi in Rieti, Italia. Non avevo altra scelta che imparare italiano. Casi nadie salva español, así que me tocó. And as I'm, living in Italy, finding myself processing the pain, I realized that every time that I've been heartbroken has been by my own doing. Let me elaborate. I realized that I had control over how I felt. I had dominion over my mind. I didn't have to take anything personal that somebody else did to me. If somebody did something greasy to me, that's on them, not on me. I know who I am. It wasn't until my 3rd month in Italy, dolo, ducked off in a cut. Parents didn't know where I was at. Nobody knew where I was at. As I'm sitting, and I remember this day like it was yesterday. I'm just sitting at a park on a regular Italian day in self-reflection. Like, damn. Every time I've been hurt, I've been heartbroken, it's because I chose to allow myself to feel like I was hurt. And it's something connected. And it connected for the moment, and then a couple of weeks went by, and I flew back to Colombia. And even though I had realized that that pain was from my own doing, in Colombia, being back in the country where the girl that I had dated hurt me, or at least I let myself get hurt, started to bring back old emotions. As when I got back, everybody was asking, hey, how's such and such? How's she doing? They didn't know that we had separated, right? I'm talking about my dentist. I was with this girl for a little minute. I took her everywhere, right? I was with her family. She was with my family. You feel me? Like, I was in a relationship. You feel me? So it's like her mom was still texting me, calling me, asking me, hey, my son, like all that type of stuff. All the emotions started to come up, and I let myself fall back in a trap of not controlling my emotions. So you know what, man? I say, yo, I need to work on this on a deep level. A couple months later, I found myself in the mountains of Colombia, and I did an ayahuasca ceremony. I went to the ayahuasca ceremony, yes, to work on the heartbreak from the relationship, but I also knew that I had a whole myriad of shit that I had to deal with from my childhood. I mean, the things I saw as a kid, kids shouldn't have to see that. The grotesque things I saw, no kid should have to go through that. The smells, the things that I saw, nobody should have to go through that. So I committed myself for 2 weeks. No meat, no media, no music, no sex, no sugar, no salt, nothing processed, as I prepared my mind, spirit, and body for ayahuasca. I went into the ceremony very scared. Didn't know what was going to happen. I did the ceremony with 2 of my great friends, my Nigerian brothers. Dudes are truly impressive men. I did the ceremony seeking answers. Ayahuasca gave me exactly what I needed. I thought I wasn't healed from that heartbreak. She told me I was. I just had to choose to be. She told me I was holding on to the pain because I had built a bond with trauma. Trauma was comfortable to me. Being free, being healthy was not. And so as I listened to her tell me these profound truths, I realized that nobody can affect you unless you give them that power to. Leaving that ceremony, I left with great clarity. I felt lighthearted, light as a feather, began to flow. Life was still tough. Certain things were going on around me. Different pieces were moving and shifting around. But I chose to spearhead. This time, not spearhead based off of anger or pain. And I still do have pain till this day. It's still there. But I chose to spearhead out of just being committed to myself, my purpose, my mission, and my journey, and why I do what I do. And so moving forward, fast forward to current day, I've realized that nothing can affect you, fellas, unless you let it, unless you give it the power. Don't give your power away so easily. Oftentimes we say, man, today was a bad day. Was it really? Or did you just have a bad moment? Did you just have a bad encounter? You guys have dominion over yourself. I've told you guys this quite a few times by now. A man has to heal his own heart. You've got to work through your traumas. You've got to work through the pain. I know it's uncomfortable. Trust me, that's the point. You've got to heal yourself. You've got to be better for your family. You've got to be better for the people that love you, for the people that rely on you, for the people that you serve, for the people that need you. You've got to be better for yourself. You need you. And so I've had to revisit the little boy in me numerous times in this past year and tell myself, it's okay, Jacques, because that's also my name, Jacques. I have to say, Jacques, Dudley, it's okay. You can rest, you can be free. I know what they did to you. I know where they put you. I know where they sent you. I know what you had to experience. I know you had to eat out of the garbage. I know you had to scavenge for chicken bones out the fucking garbage. I know what you had to do. I know. It's okay. You're free. I got you. I had to tell myself that I had myself. Internal dialogue, self-reflection, in solitude. And ever since then, I've been flowing. Yeah, life is tough. Yeah, sometimes I still slip up. Certain things come up. I'm human. And like I said in the previous video, everybody's just doing the best that they can. but a man has to heal his heart. A lot of you guys, I know that you've been heartbroken by multiple women. Perhaps your mom has disappointed you. Perhaps your father neglected you. Perhaps a cousin or something used to touch you. Something greasy used to go down that nobody knows about but you. Nobody knows about it but you. I know it hurts, trust me, but you gotta heal. Because if you don't heal, you're holding yourself back, brother. You're holding yourself back. You have big plans, you have big things to do. Don't let a couple of seasons in your life hold you back from experiencing the best season of your life. I know, brother, I know it hurts. Take the time to process it and then realize how powerful you are and take your power back. Take it back. You've got to heal your heart. You've got to flow. You've got to dig deep. You've got to be obsessed with yourself. You've got to heal your heart. That's the video, fellas. Salute.